into a dangerous and spectacular arena of life and death. Our story of ancient reptiles extends even further back in time, before the first dinosaurs had even evolved. The Permian period, which preceded the Mesozoic, was home to a fascinating array of creatures that represent earlier branches on the great tree of life. One of the most recognizable figures from this era is Dimetrodon. With its large, sail-like structure on its back and sprawling gait, it is often mistaken for a dinosaur. However, Dimetrodon was not a reptile in the same lineage as dinosaurs. It was a synapsid, a group that is actually more closely related to modern mammals than to any reptile. The magnificent sail of Dimetrodon, supported by long spines growing from its vertebrae, has long been a subject of scientific fascination. The most widely accepted theory is that it functioned as a thermoregulatory device. By angling the sail towards the sun, Dimetrodon could have warmed its blood quickly, becoming active earlier in the day than its cold-blooded prey and competitors. It could also have been used to dissipate heat, or as a dramatic display structure for intimidating rivals or attracting mates. As a top predator of its time, these advantages would have been crucial for survival in the Permian landscape. While synapsids like Dimetrodon were on the evolutionary path towards mammals, the true reptilian line was also becoming established. Among the earliest and most fundamental groups were the captorhinids. These were small to medium-sized stocky reptiles that flourished during the Permian. They possessed robust skulls and multiple rows of teeth, suggesting they were omnivores or herbivores capable of crushing tough plant material and hard-shelled invertebrates. They represent a crucial early stage of reptilian evolution, the foundational stock from which later, more famous groups would eventually arise. Understanding these early forms is vital to appreciating the full story of the reptiles. They show us that the world before the dinosaurs was not an empty stage, but a vibrant ecosystem filled with its own unique giants and pioneers. The distinction between synapsids like Dimetrodon and true reptiles like the captorhinids highlights the deep, branching history of life on Earth. These Permian creatures were the trailblazers, laying the evolutionary groundwork for the incredible reptilian dynasties that were destined to follow them and rule the world for an unimaginable length of time. As our journey through time comes to a close, we are left with a profound sense of awe for the world of ancient reptiles. They were not simply monsters of a bygone age, but a diverse, sophisticated, and fantastically successful group of animals that dominated our planet for an immense stretch of geological time. From the earth-shaking tread of the dinosaurs and the soaring grace of the pterosaurs, to the silent, deadly hunters of the deep oceans, they conquered every environment. Their story is a powerful reminder of nature's endless creativity and the planet's capacity for change. The legacy of these creatures is all around us, etched into the fossil record and even living on in their descendants. The birds that fly in our skies today are the direct inheritors of the dinosaur lineage, a living link to that lost world. The story of the ancient reptiles shaped the very trajectory of life on Earth, paving the way for the rise of mammals and ultimately, ourselves. Their reign may have ended, but their impact is eternal, a foundational chapter in the epic story of our planet. The world of paleontology is constantly evolving, with new discoveries every year that reshape our understanding of these magnificent creatures. I encourage you to continue this journey of discovery, to visit museums, to read, and to remain curious about the deep history of life. There are still so many secrets buried beneath our feet, waiting to be unearthed. Thank you for joining me in exploring this vanished kingdom. The past is never truly gone, as long as we have the curiosity to seek it out. This unique adaptation allowed them to soar, glide, and hunt over the Mesozoic landscapes with incredible grace and agility. For over 160 million years, these winged reptiles ruled the air, diversifying into a multitude of species. Early forms, like the Rhamphorhynchus, had long tails, often with a diamond-shaped vein at the end, which likely acted as a rudder for stability. As they evolved, later pterosaurs, the pterodactyloids, lost these long tails, developing more advanced and dynamic flight capabilities. They ranged in size from creatures no bigger than a sparrow to the true giants of the sky, adapting to various diets from insectivory to fishing, a clear demonstration of their evolutionary success. Among the most famous of this group is the pteranodon, with a wingspan that could reach over 20 feet This impressive creature was a master of the coastal skies over the western interior seaway of North America. Its most distinctive feature was a large bony crest extending from the back of its skull. While its exact function is debated, it may have been a display structure for attracting mates, a rudder for steering in flight, or perhaps both. Toothless and built for soaring long distances, Pteranodon was a specialized fish eater, skimming the surface of the waves to pluck unsuspecting prey from the water. But even the impressive Pteranodon was dwarfed by the largest flying animal ever known, Quetzalcoatlus. This behemoth of the late Cretaceous had a wingspan comparable to that of a small airplane, perhaps as wide as 36 feet. It stood as tall as a giraffe on the ground, using its folded wings to walk on all fours. Unlike the coastal Pteranodon, Quetzalcoatlus lived inland and is thought to have been a terrestrial stalker, a superstalk that hunted small dinosaurs and other vertebrates on the ground before launching its colossal frame into the air. It represents the absolute pinnacle of pterosaur evolution, a true giant of the prehistoric skies. As dinosaurs and pterosaurs dominated the land and air, the Mesozoic oceans teemed with their own reptilian giants. These were not dinosaurs, but several distinct groups of reptiles that had returned to the water, evolving into perfectly adapted marine predators. Among the most streamlined were the ichthyosaurs. With their sleek dolphin-like bodies, powerful tails and large eyes, they were built for speed and efficiency. Fossils reveal they gave birth to live young at sea, completely severing their ties to the land, and their enormous eyes suggest they were capable of hunting in the dark, deep waters of the ancient oceans. Another iconic group was the plesiosaurs, famous for their extraordinary body plan. They are often depicted as having incredibly long serpentine necks and small heads, attached to a broad turtle-like body propelled by 4 powerful flippers. Creatures like Elasmosaurus, with a neck containing over 70 vertebrae, could have used this incredible reach to ambush schools of fish from below, striking with snake-like speed. Not all plesiosaurs had long necks, however. The plesiosaurs were a subgroup of short-necked, massive-headed predators, the apex hunters of their time, like the formidable Leopleurodon. The reign of these earlier marine reptiles eventually gave way to a new and even more fearsome predator in the late Cretaceous seas, the Mosasaurus. These were not related to ichthyosaurs or plesiosaurs, but were essentially giant aquatic lizards, closely related to modern monitor lizards and snakes. Propelled by a powerful fluked tail and steering with paddle-like limbs, Mosasaurus was an ambush predator of immense power. With a second set of teeth in its palate to secure struggling prey and a double-hinged jaw that allowed it to swallow large animals whole, it was the undisputed tyrant of the sea in its final days. These 3 groups showcase the remarkable power of convergent evolution, where unrelated animals evolve similar forms to adapt to similar environments. The dolphin-like ichthyosaur, the long-necked plesiosaur, and the lizard-like mosasaur each found their own unique solution to the challenges of marine life. They were the crocodiles, whales, and sharks of their time, a diverse and terrifying assembly of reptiles that ruled the waves for millions of years, turning the prehistoric oceans into a dangerous and spectacular arena of life and death. And today I invite you to join me on a remarkable journey back in time. We are venturing into a world that existed long before the first human footsteps ever marked the Earth, a world ruled by some of the most extraordinary creatures to have ever lived. This was the age of ancient reptiles, a vast and varied group of vertebrate animals that dominated the land, the seas, and the skies for millions upon millions of years. Their story is one of spectacular success, incredible adaptation, and eventual dramatic change. These ancient reptiles are not just fossils in a museum. They were living, breathing beings that shaped the very course of evolution on our planet. Among them are some of the most famous and awe-inspiring figures of prehistory, creatures that continue to capture our imagination. From the colossal titans that shook the ground with every step, to the winged masters of the air and the fearsome predators of the deep, their diversity was simply breathtaking. They were the pioneers of a reptilian dynasty that has left an indelible legacy. In this exploration, we will look beyond the myths and legends to uncover the scientific truths about these magnificent animals. We will see how they lived, how they hunted, and how they interacted with their environment. By understanding their world, we gain a deeper appreciation for the immense timescale of life on Earth and the incredible resilience and creativity of nature. So let's step back into this lost world and witness the rise and reign of the ancient reptiles. Our journey begins in the Mesozoic era, a time spanning nearly 200 million years, often called the Age of Reptiles. And within this age, one group more than any other defined the terrestrial world, the dinosaurs. These were not the slow, lumbering beasts of early imagination. They were dynamic, incredibly successful animals that diversified into a stunning array of forms. For over 150 million years, they were the undisputed masters of the continents, adapting to fill almost every conceivable ecological niche on land, a reign of unparalleled length and dominance in the history of vertebrate life. Their diversity was truly astounding, a testament to evolution's power. Imagine the colossal Argentinosaurus, a sauropod so immense its footsteps would have felt like localized earthquakes, peacefully browsing on the tops of ancient trees. In the same world, you would find the agile and cunning velociraptor, a feathered hunter no larger than a turkey, yet perfectly equipped for cooperative predation. From the heavily armored Ankylosaurus, a living fortress covered in bony plates, to the three-horned Triceratops, a formidable herbivore, the sheer variety in size, shape, and lifestyle is almost beyond comprehension. Paleontologists have brought order to this incredible diversity by dividing dinosaurs into two major groups based on their hip structure. First, the Saurischia, or lizard-hipped dinosaurs. This group includes the two-legged carnivorous theropods, like the fearsome Tyrannosaurus rex, and the gigantic long-necked four-legged herbivorous sauropods. Their pelvic structure, with a pubis bone pointing forward, is a key anatomical marker that unites these seemingly disparate giants and hunters into a single, extraordinary lineage. The other great clan was the Ornithischians, the bird-hipped dinosaurs. In a fascinating twist of evolutionary naming, it is not this group, but the Saurischia, that gave rise to birds. The Ornithischians were all herbivores, and they developed an astonishing variety of defensive and feeding adaptations. This group includes the armored dinosaurs like Stegosaurus, the horned dinosaurs like Triceratops, and the duck-billed hadrosaurs. They were a testament to the evolutionary arms race between predator and prey, constantly evolving new ways to thrive in a world of giants. While dinosaurs commanded the land, the skies belonged to another equally remarkable group of reptiles, the pterosaurs. It is a common misconception to call these creatures flying dinosaurs, but in truth, they were a distinct lineage of archosaurs, the first vertebrates to achieve true powered flight. Their wings were not made of feathers like a bird's, but of a tough, leathery membrane of skin and muscle. Stretched from an